Okay, so I am over here. Oh, first of all, let me just say hello and welcome to Clear Canvas. I am having a few technical difficulties, which I think I'm going to just go ahead and stop this. And all right, so I'm going to just do it this way. Do you have your mute on, Miss M? Okay. All right. So now. First, I want to start off by saying welcome to Clear Canvas. I am your host, B. Tonight, we are going to be painting a brand new canvas. And as you can see, guys, I have my canvas. So, I am a part of a few different platforms. And those platforms consist of we have YouTube, Facebook, Meetup, Clubhouse, Instagram, and Twitter. Eventually, all of my platforms will stream at the same time. And I won't have to do so many different recordings and trying to get logged into these different systems. But in the meantime, until like everything is sorted out, I'm just winging this thing and doing it the best I can. So tonight, here at Clear Canvas, we are going to be talking about health struggles and prosperity. I want to say hello to any of our Clear creators that came out tonight to join in on this topic. And also, I just wanted to say thank you for being a part. I think Clear Canvas is going to be a strong support group, a strong outlet where we can all come, be free, and actually heal our minds, clear our canvases, get some different things on our minds. So, again, I'm starting with just a regular blank canvas. I'm going to go ahead on and set up my colors. I got my paint brushes. Keep in mind, guys, you do not have to paint a canvas when you come in to join the meetings. It's definitely at your own discretion whether you want to partake in the canvas part. The canvas is a physical prop that is the representation of the mind. So as we're painting, we want to think about us clearing our canvases and actually just letting go of whatever it is that we need to let go of, and also learning new strategies and new mechanisms to help us throughout our everyday life. So, yep, tonight is no specific color. We did Glorious Gold on our last session. Tonight it's just going to be like free paint. Feel free to use as many colors as you want. We're talking about health struggles, and before we do, I'd like to just open up, and if you like to speak and say hello and introduce yourself, you're more than welcome. However, that is not necessary for you to do. You can definitely just be anonymous if that's what you prefer. So I'm just going to say hello and great evening to all of our clear creators tonight.
Hello, I'm Miss M.
Nice to have you with us tonight, Miss M. How do you feel about Clear Canvas so far? Are you excited to join in on this topic tonight?
Yes, I like the topic, health and prosperity, and I'm looking forward to sharing some enlightenment on both topics.
Awesome. Well, I'm hoping that um, everything is well with our recording and everyone will be able to hear all of your enlightening thoughts and ideas um, on Clubhouse, as well as YouTube, as well as Meetup and Zoom, other platforms, etc. So, let me get my colors going. Are you using any special colors tonight, Miss M?
Yes, I'm using red, brown, and gold.
Awesome. Well, I think that is nice. So tonight, and also guys, feel free to get your hot chocolate, get your teas, your wines, you know, your liquors, whatever it is that makes you guys feel clear in your thinking. Let's just go ahead and have some of that. I definitely am going to be having a nice divine beverage myself. So now, tonight, health struggles and prosperity. So first, I want to open up by saying health struggles can be... How's the music? Is the music too loud in the back? Should I cut it up or down, or is it soothing? Can you hear it?
I would like it if the music was off. But
Okay.
if you like it being on, it's okay with me.
Is it a large overshadow?
No, I hear you real good.
Okay, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will keep that going. Please be mindful. I do have children, guys, so you may hear them in the back. However, that has nothing to do with Clear Canvas. And we're all here together as clear creators. Okay? So, the first thing I want to start off by saying is I am so excited about talking about tonight's topic, because I think it's very important for us to clear our canvases and clear our understanding when it comes to health struggles that we're facing. Excuse me, I'm on a call. Leave her alone. If you need to use another bathroom, you can feel free to use the other one in the house. Okay, well, you're going to have to wait a moment. And I'm on Clear Canvas, so you don't want to just like make unnecessary movements that's going to cause an argument. Sorry, it's late evening. The kids are home again. I will not apologize. This is the last time, but children. Okay, so what I was saying is tonight, I think this is a very important topic because it hits home for me. Health struggles is definitely something that a lot of us are faced with in the community, in the African American community, just the Afrocentric community, period, and all ethnicities, really. So, to be honest with you, the topic is dead on, because everyone can really benefit from being able to let go of some of the things that we feel like are hindrances to our everyday life. So give me one moment. I'm gonna step away for a second. I'm just cutting down the soothing music just a little bit, because I don't want to feel like I am yelling. Okay. So now we got a little bit of soothing music in the background. I'm going to get the music and stuff together one of these days, y'all. Just bear with me. Okay, so the health struggles hit home for me because I've suffered from, different types of illness. And not only that, I have, children, and I deal with health concerns with my children. And so all of these things are factors that play into my everyday life. And sometimes they control the outlook of my life at that time. So tonight, I have just a few points and a few questions that I want us to be thinking about. The first question is, do you feel like your life is short or you have to hurry about life? Or basically, do you feel like you have to race to complete the task, or you need to hurry up and get everything in order in life because you're uncertain of the time that you have here? Now, for me, with this question, for me, I have always kind of felt like my health was a major problem. I suffered many years with sickle cell, and so with that being said, it's just a lot that goes along with the illness, and it is a lot that you have to consider and prepare yourself for. And one of the challenges was, having to come to grips with the fact that I may not live as long as others. So while this is, a little disheartening, it's the truth, and there are many people who are affected with sickle cell anemia across the globe. And, everybody is working to cope with this illness in their own way. Now, I'd like to say it put loads of pressure on. And when I tell you, like, even when it came to my spiritual life, I feel like I couldn't even really focus on certain things to ask God for. I'm going to say ask God for from a small level of understanding. I just didn't know what it was that I wanted to ask God for other than healing. And so for me, it's been a continuous journey of finding what healing actually is and what it looks like, here in my present life. So overall, I really do feel like I was faced with tremendous pressure when trying to figure out the course to take as far as my personal life is concerned. Like, how am I gonna live life? Like, what does this look like for me? Can I ever work a good job? If I work a good job, how long will it last before I get sick again? So all of these things were huge concerns for me on my plate. So when it comes to, do you feel like your life is short or you have to hurry about life? Well, in the beginning, I did. Now I have learned how to process my thoughts in a way that it rules out the time. It rules out everything around me, because I've elevated my spirit man. And by me elevating my spirit man, I don't consider myself subject to time now because I know that my journey here is not supposed to go forever and ever. Even though the spirit will be eternal, it just, I don't have to worry or fear or fret my last day, because I know that when my last day comes, it will be the appointed time for me to depart um, from this place. So I'm totally at rest now with the understanding that I didn't ask to be here. And so uh, my biggest goal now when it comes to hurrying up about life is just appreciating the time that I have here, making loving connections while I'm here, and making sure that my conscience is clear. So whenever my last day does arrive, um, I will be at complete shalom and complete peace and ready to um, make shalom with my death and make shalom with my passing, because you know, life is good, but the end, you know, will be also great as well, I do believe, because it will be the expired time. I'd like to open up the floor to ask that same question for any of the participants in the room. So the question is, do you first of all have any health struggles that you'd like to share? And if you do have any health struggles that you'd like to share, the first question is, do you feel like your life is short, or have you had any complications with your illness where you feel like, you know, it affected your life, where you had to hurry about life or play catch up with life? And I yield the mic.
Okay, my name is Miss M, and I have health struggles. I'm still on medication. I have bipolar, and I was in and out of mental institutions for 10 years, off and on, being married and having 3 children, and when my journey first began, I just used to kneel on my knees at night and pray to the Father. And I did that throughout the time of being in and out of those mental institutions. But it wasn't until after I had stopped going to the mental institution that my spiritual walk grew more. I don't worry about when I'm going to leave here. I'm aware that this is a temporary place, that we was just born here, but we are not to remain here forever. I do believe in the Godhead, who is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I also know that my spiritual journey, since I've been home from the hospital, I have not been back to a mental institution for a very long time. God has restored me, and it's beautiful walking with the Lord. I pray without ceasing on a day-to-day basis. I prepare my day before I begin my day with the Father, with the Godhead. And stand before the Godhead is so comforting. He's power and authority over all creation. All things are possible through the Godhead. And so I don't worry about when I'm going to leave here, how long I'm going to be here, because my life to me is not my own. I've surrendered and I've given it to the Godhead. I'm a Christian. I do Bible study Monday through Friday, and I just like I said, pray without ceasing. And so I'm on medication for my bipolar, and God has restored me. Now, I didn't get bipolar until I was 31 years old. And being ill is uncomfortable, it's different. And I hadn't ever been in a mental institution. And to my children and my ex-husband, it probably was a very embarrassing situation for them. It was very hard for me experiencing it. I didn't know what was occurring. I didn't know what was going on. I had been placed in an environment that I had never been a part of before. All of it was disturbing.
Wow.
But when I would be up all day in those hospitals, and at night, when I kneeled on my knees at night in prayer, and I'll remind you that was basically the only thing that I was doing spiritual wise at that time, was saying my prayers at night. I could rest good at night in those hospitals. But now, since I've been restored, it's a beautiful journey that I'm on. And I thank God for it. Thank you for letting me speak on my health.
Awesome. Yes. So I can completely understand that was, a really humbling experience, and definitely an experience that, could change your life and have a huge impact on your life. I think, to our question that we just uncovered, from your understanding, is that we're not supposed to be here forever. And, you've pretty much made peace with the fact that, you encountered embarking on this journey with bipolar, and you've accepted this illness for what it is, and you are working through your spirituality to move forward with your life. And I think it's safe to say that, through your way of religion, which is Christianity, you're saying that, you feel confident that the Godhead has brought you through the challenges that bipolar had to render you, correct?
I was painting my canvas and also listening, but I didn't
Understand.
hear the last.
I was saying, so it's safe to say that your spiritual journey with the Godhead is what has allowed you to have peace through the occurrences that you've had with bipolar.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So now we'll move down so that we can keep moving at a steady pace, guys. I hope everybody is enjoying their time painting their canvases. I'll show you guys what mine looks like so far. And this is it, showing from my YouTube and
nice.
So just working with the paints, being free, and just moving all about with the paintbrushes. So now let's move on to our next point tonight. So the next question is, do you think your health will prohibit your lifestyle in the future? And how do you process the effect that you think, it may have? Do you think, does it make you happy or sad? So for me, do I think my health will prohibit my lifestyle in the future? Well, I actually feel like it prohibited a lot of things, and that I don't know what the future holds when it comes to um, sickle cell. However, I don't operate through that spirit anymore. And I wanted to take the time to really explain what I mean about not operating through that spirit. So, when I first learned about the complications that I have with sickle cell, I just seen, okay, well, the life expectancy, possibly not being able to really get into a nice career, or not being able to make the kind of income that I want to make, because of the health challenges. And for a while, all I seen was no way. However, when I started to believe in God first, and this is when I was a Christian in my spiritual walk, all I ever thought about was the woman with the issue of blood, because I always thought, okay, well, she can be, if she can be healed, God can heal her. I know He can heal me. At that time, I didn't know what healing was, though. I didn't know what healing looked like. So, for the most part, I just kept, wrestling with myself, like, what do I need to do to be healed? I know that the doctors really were offering too many options, for the simple fact that there's no cure. Only thing they have is like enhancements, or things that could possibly help you to preserve this portion of your body or preserve that portion. But other than a bone marrow transplant, there's just really no cure for the disease. So for me, I had to find something else. And so at this time in my life, I turned to God. And I guess you can actually say that I had an expectation, because I was told that God could heal. So I was expecting Him to heal me. You know what I mean? And that's what the word said. So, and I think because my lenses were kind of small, and remember we talked about, our lenses and what eyes were viewing situations through, I had such it was a big understanding of what healing was, because I just felt like, okay, I'm gonna be healed. God can completely heal me, period. But I didn't totally break down how He was gonna heal me. And that's the catch, guys. That is the catch. I did not break down how He was gonna heal me, and I still don't know the levels in which are to come for my healing, but I have reached a level of healing. Now, I want to say this. I didn't, on my mind throughout the times being in the hospitals, taking the medications, seeing how they made me feel, dealing with the employment, the employment portions, like, maybe I would start a job and couldn't finish the job, or I would start the job and pretty much not be able to stay but for so long, and then maybe they couldn't hold my position because of it. It was just constant worry of the trajectory of my life at that time. But I was so super young. Once I got had kids, things kind of changed. My perspective shifted, and it was just like, okay, I gotta hurry up and get some things done here. I gotta hurry up, and I've got to make some choices and some decisions, because like I have kids, and what am I gonna do about my kids if I'm not, who are going to take care of my kids if I'm not here? Or, these are just like normal worries that a mom might have if she's faced with some health struggles. And you don't know what the proper path is, because you at that time don't even know, if you're going to make it. So I had to come outside of myself and say, hey, you can't control that you have this illness, but what you can do is find a way to cope with it, and you can find a way to be joyous in suffering. And I think that is actually one of the fruits of the spirit when you think about things from a spiritual perspective, because you want to be able to endure while you're on your journey. That's the first of all. However, it's easier said than done. So for me, endurance looked like, going to the appointments, dealing with the hospital stays, pretty much just, doing life with no really set goals, because for me it just didn't feel like goals were super obtainable. I didn't even know if how long I was going to be able to live, and here I am at 34, and I'm still finding new ways to come to grips with my life, the way it's set up, and my healing, and not beat myself up because of this illness that I have. So, for me, do I feel like, back to the question, do I feel like the health will prohibit my life in the future? Well, for me, I'm uncertain. Maybe it will, maybe it will not. However, the great divine, the spirit of healing, the spirit of endurance is ever present every day, because I'm making the conscious choice to keep going and keep pressing forward with all of the strength that I have within me. And now I don't go to God or the Father or Jesus or Yahushua, whoever you call God, or this great divine spirit. I don't go asking anymore for healing, because I know that the healing is internal. It's something that we have to process internally. And what happens is, once we learn how to tap into that capability of working through these things internally, then you get the outward manifestation of good health. And so that's how I have been able to successfully hit long runs of wellness because I spent the time focusing on day to day, not getting caught up with the time that I have, not getting caught up with the label of sickle cell, but just understanding that this was a portion of my life that I had to examine and figure out if it were going to make or break me. So prohibit me? No, I don't think I'm going to be prohibited when it comes to my overall decision making, because I understand that no day is promised to us. However, I am moving forward in a ruach of hope, the spirit of hope, being able to allow day to day to happen and be okay with however that day panned out. So now I'm not focusing on that huge picture of, is this going to affect my life going forward? Or is this going to affect my child's life to where he or she cannot, be all that they were created to be? Because whoever we're created to be, clear creators, we're going to be that, whether it's in the perspective of our forward vision, or if it's just in the capacity of today. And as long as you've done your best today, that is all that is required. So for you, Miss M, do you think your health will prohibit your lifestyle in the future? And what are your thoughts on that?
You was chopping up a little bit. Prohibit
your lifestyle in the future.
No, ma'am.
Do you think your health would?
No, ma'am. Because I walk with God. I walk with Jesus, and the Holy Spirit resides in me. Awesome. And my walk is so beautiful, praying without ceasing to the Godhead. The Holy Spirit, I remember building my personal relationship with the Lord and speaking to Him on a day-to-day basis. Not just when I kneel down and pray on my knees at night and pray. I would talk all throughout the day to the Godhead. And I've been on my spiritual walk with my personal relationship for now probably over 10 years. And it's a beautiful journey walking with the Lord. I've surrendered, and so I don't worry about Marika's life because I've given my life to the Lord. I have concerns about Marika's life and how my life, how it will go. But I always lift up my concerns with prayer, and then I ask the Lord to have His way with my concerns. Now, my walk is very beautiful. The Lord has blessed me with peace. I have a lot of joy in my heart, and I be filled with the Holy Spirit every day. Now, my bipolar is very different. Some people with bipolar like to fight. My bipolar journey was very different from that of theirs. I won't go into the details as to what my bipolar is about, but I've experienced a lot of beautiful things that people, when I come out of those mental institutions and didn't have to go back and was able to share my journey, I knew, well, I thought, because I did not know, I thought that all of my friends and family was talking about me and not wanting to be a part of me. They probably would. Now, I didn't say that these are the things that they was doing, but it did cross my mind because, this is life. And when you've known someone has been in a mental institution for 10 years off and on, first thing you say is they crazy. And I don't want to be a part.
Right.
And I know that there is God, a God, one God. And I love walking with the Godhead, because all of my friends and family members and people that I encounter that know my story, they accept me. And that's beautiful to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also about being healed. I have been restored, but my psychiatrist says that I will have to take my medication until the day I die.
Right.
Now, I believe that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit heals people in different ways.
Right.
Because God is our healer. And all we have to do is speak to him about our concerns, and he will have his way with them. Now, that don't always mean that when, like with my bipolar, my psychiatrist said that I would be on my medication until I pass over. And I'm fine with that. So sometimes when we ask the Father to heal us, he heals us, I think, the way that he wants to do it. And sometimes we don't understand.
Absolutely.
But I do know that he is with me and that he won't ever leave me or forsake me with whatever I go through out here in the world. And that's what keeps me.
Absolutely. And that is beautiful. That is the reason why individuals can look forward to beauty and to greatness, because you've actually accepted and come to a huge form of clarity with the illness that you have, how it makes you feel, and you've also come to the understanding that you are different, your case is different, and you also have, you mentioned your friends, you have a support system that accepts you the way you are and for who you are, and whatever form of bipolar that you have, it's not too big for change to come about, and for things to completely dissipate, period, and be completely walking in your healing, which that's what it looks like you're doing now, walking in that healing and really allowing life to continue to flow for you despite the challenges that you've had with the illness. And so I think as long as you continue to keep good thoughts and continue to be open about the things that you're experiencing and how it affects you, that you'll be able to help many others in your situation, and or offer them some encouragement on how to operate through those struggles with the illness that you deal with, which is the bipolar. So I think that's that's definitely refreshing to hear. You know that you that you operate so fiercely in that area. So, now the second part to that question is, um, how do you process, um, how do you process the effect that you feel like bipolar has on your life, and does it make you happy or sad? So I'll let you go first, and then I'll tell you how I process things.
How I process it is just stand before the Lord. I literally ask the Lord to think for me, to help me in my day-to-day decisions and all of those things. And when I say ask him to think for me, is because I used to have racing thoughts after coming out the mental institution. And I had one thought after the next thought, another thought after that thought, and another thought after that thought, and they just kept coming.
Right.
And I asked the Lord, would he think for me? And I pray that prayer still to today. And my thoughts are clear now. I don't have racing thoughts anymore. See, I have the understanding, because I do Bible study Monday through Friday. I go to church every Sunday now. And the Lion of Judah represents that God is power. The Lion, who is God, is power and authority over all creation. And then all things are possible through the Godhead. And so I don't have to worry anymore. Whatever concerns I have, I just lift them up with prayer. And that was one of my concerns many years ago about my way of thinking, because those thoughts were just coming and coming and coming, and they were overwhelming. Now, I could have went to my psychiatrist and asked him for something to give me some medication for that. But I lifted it up with prayer. And those thoughts didn't stop overnight, but they're not here today.
Awesome. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful testament. And it's definitely something to be proud of. I want to also say welcome to someone else in our Clear Canvas platform on Clubhouse, Mrs. Paris. Feel free to join in on the conversation if you like to partake in the discussion, or you want to speak. You're more than welcome to speak. Hopefully you have your canvas and you're painting with us. If you didn't know, and I know you came in kind of late, you can definitely follow us on Facebook. I should be streamed live on Facebook. I also have a Zoom where you can kind of like see me live. This will also be uploaded to YouTube later, so you can look at the YouTube channel at Clear Canvas. Tonight we're talking about health struggles and prosperity. And what's taken place thus far is that we've kind of touched base on some of the health challenges that we have and how it has affected our life and our mental thinking. So feel free to chime in if you like, and paint your brighter canvas, paint your brighter picture. So now let me talk about that question and how I feel about that. Give me one moment. Let me just make sure my Clubhouse is the way it's supposed to be, because I'm trying to stream on all these different things If you can hear me okay in Clubhouse, can you put a little one in the chat? If not, it's okay. I'll just try to see how it sounds when it's over. But hopefully you can hear me okay. For me, I still suffer, in this area. The question is, do you feel like, it says, how do you process the effect of what you think, basically your health, and how it'll prohibit you in the future, would be for you? Does it make you happy or sad? So for me, I know sometimes when I'm actually going through an actual health crisis with sickle cell, or I'm going through a challenge with my son who suffers with the illness, I actually sometimes go through a whole stage of replaying the whole traumatic scenario again. So I may have feelings like, oh my God, it's happening again. This might actually be it this time, which are scary feelings, guys. These are hard situations to understand. And even though, we have this great big faith and this great big hope that everything is, going to work out okay, there's still a form of fear that sets in, and there's still a form of concern that sets in. It's like, well, is this going to be it? Whether it's me or my son who suffers from sickle cell as well. It's like, is this going to be the time where it's going to be it? Is this going to be the time where it's going to be tremendously bad for us, where we can't come back from this? And basically, it puts me in a state of tremendous tension. It's almost like my body just cringes up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, what am I gonna do here? Accept the fact if this is my son's last day on earth, accept if this is my last day on earth, accept, and I don't know if I have everything in order. So these are all forms of thoughts that come to my canvas, to my mind, when I'm actually going through some of these health challenges. And it's not so much as lack of faith that keeps me from going through the challenge with no worry. It's more so coming to grips with the end. And that is the unfortunate privilege of having an illness like sickle cell. Is more so like, hey, it's been real, but this just might be it. And so, so I get all kinds of feelings. Sometimes, I used to be able to could get through so easily when I have big hospital stays or big hospital occurrences that come about in my life. However, the fact that it's been happening throughout my life, and I haven't found a solution, sometimes of a complete solution. I'm going to say complete solution, guys. I haven't found the complete solution outside of the Most High, here in the self and here in the human flesh, and here where I have boundaries and I have limitations to the kind of healing that I can access. It really makes me feel defeated sometimes. And I want us to be able to talk about the handicaps, because even though we have our confidence and our lack of, you know, pretty much our lack of worry about, death, because we know we're not supposed to be here together, it's sometimes just a hard fight to just even fight through the actual challenges that we're facing at hand, and still be able to maintain the spirit of endurance, or the spirit of, I hope this will get better, or the spirit of, I know God will heal me, or, all of these wonderful spiritual aspects of life are there, and somehow they feel slightly diminished when we're actually in the hot seat, guys. And so I just wanted to open up the floor for us to expound together on any fears that we have during the time of during the time that these health struggles are actually occurring. So for you, Miss M, I'd like to ask you this question. How do you process life, or how does life look to you when you're actually physically in that mental institution? Are you at rest? Are you thinking about the world on the outside? How does thinking about your children and your relatives at that time align with your spiritual state when you're dealing with the bipolar while you're in the institution itself?
When I first got there, my first visit, it was long, it was drawn out, had to see so many psychiatrists and go through evaluations, and then I had to wind up staying for 72 hours, because anytime you go to a mental institution and they're not understanding what's going on with you, and you're not, quote unquote, all the way there.
Right.
They commit you in, and you're under a 72-hour evaluation. When I first got there, because I hadn't ever been through anything like that at 31, in my whole entire life, it was very disturbing, embarrassing. I mean, come on now. Folks say the crazy house, you loony, you this, you that, you the other. So when I first got there, I remember speaking to my ex-husband's mother over the phone. I told her, I'm not crazy, but something is going on with me that I cannot understand or explain.
Absolutely.
Now, I've not ever been the type of person, though, to really put a lot of emphasis on what someone thinks about Miss M.
Right.
Miss M is very hyper. I say what's on my mind. And I treat people, I've always tried to treat people like I want to be treated. Now, when you're in a mental institution and folks know you're going there, that don't hold no weight. Because you would think you would be in another category, because there's a lot of stereotypes in the world, and people place them on you.
Absolutely.
But I just thank God that they was not placed on me. And basically, physically, but my own set of going to those hospitals I reinforced was very embarrassing, and I didn't know what was going on with me, but I couldn't worry about all of that, worrying about what somebody got to say about my experience now, because this was real, and I was being taken away from my husband and children, and
Absolutely.
but the longest I had ever stayed in one of those hospitals was for 3 months. That's a long time.
Absolutely.
Being away from your family.
Absolutely.
Around different people experiencing different things. Everybody got to line up and take the different medicines and things like that. And then you're locked in the mental institution. You don't have the right to roam freely. You can't go outside and walk by yourself, or at least take you out.
Right.
So it was very uncomfortable. It was confusing. It was disturbing. I could go on with many other words. I felt alone. But I knew I wasn't alone. I felt alone dealing with, people. But I always prayed that night, like I was letting you all know, I was able to rest.
Right.
At the end of the day. And see, in mental institutions, you have a certain time that you have to go to bed.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't no early person back then. I wasn't one to go to bed all early and things. So it was
an adjustment.
A very hard experience.
Yeah.
For me back then.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's definitely interesting to understand your mindset at the time of, crisis, and also, it's something that we all have to kind of like examine. Now, I know that I have been through situations where I've had to be evaluated mentally. And for me, my experience happened to be evaluated mentally, and this is something completely separate from my sickle cell. It was definitely frightening. It was frightening because at this point in time in my life, I was trying to tap into my holy self, and myself that, the self that I wanted to see myself as being. And the crazy part is that so many things was happening in my life at that time, being married, trying to understand what marriage looked like, trying to understand the spiritual portions of marriage, because marriage is a spiritual bond. It's a spiritual connection that you're making. It's this new covenant that you're making with the Most High, not only with the Most High, with your husband. And for me, that covenant was just, it was scary. It was new. I was fresh to this whole thing. And then on top of that, trying to detox off of all of the other traumatic experiences in my life, I didn't really know what I was looking at when I seen myself. But I do know that I was alert throughout my whole evaluation, throughout my whole experience. So while these things around me looked super horrible, super frightening, super bad, I was unable to know, what was what or who was who. But one thing I did know for sure is that my spirit aright was aligned with what I know I had to do at that time, whether it was to suffer in this place of embarrassment or shame, and or coming out on top, which I believe I did, because anytime the Most High or God or our supreme force of ruler is orchestrating something in the world, in the earth, in the atmosphere, amongst all of us, there is no intervention that you can do in the flesh. You got to kind of like go through that thing. You got to really like see what it is that's happening here. And so anytime you're a part of any religious organization, or if you have a relationship with the divine God, the Most High, Jesus, again, Yeshua, or Yahusha, Yahawashai, whoever you refer to the Most High as, Buddha, Muhammad, all of these different leaders, when you profess and proclaim to have a relationship with these different deities and or messengers, you know that you are faced against spiritual attack. And so when it comes to our health struggles, we have to understand that we have health struggles here in the flesh, but that a great portion of our health struggles that we do experience are mental. Pretty much about, I'm gonna say, a good maybe 45 to 50%, in my opinion, is I'm gonna say maybe 30% of it is flesh, and I'm gonna say the other 70% is spiritual. And that is just from my experience, because I know that the word says, when we read it, as a man thinketh, so is he. Or if you think it can happen. When it comes to manifestation, you gotta speak it into existence. Kind of like, it's just like whatever you say is going to happen is going to happen. So when whatever you're thinking or saying is not happening, then you have to uncover it from the spiritual realm, because at that point we're not believing man for the diagnosis, we're not believing man for the cure, we're believing this higher power, this higher entity to come in and change this situation around, so much so that nothing else has any bearings on it. And so for me, being in a situation where I had to be mentally evaluated, it really helped me to understand a great deal of, and I'm still unpacking, but it helped me to understand a great deal of what my spiritual work it helped me to understand what I needed to do to be free. It showed me what life looked like for me, with all of these different levels of grief that was in my life, and that I was suffering through. And this was just like the breaking point, having to go get mentally evaluated, and probably years of hospitalizations, falling off, getting back on, falling off, getting back on. Those things, those health struggles really contributed to my overall mental health. And it's definitely something that we have to deal with, and that is why we do Clear Canvas. That is why we come here. We're sharing, we're being transparent about the things that have happened to us and about what we're doing to try and cope with those things and or move past those things. So that was good for that. So now let's go over into prosperity so we can kind of wrap things up. I'm going to show just a brief I'm going to show you a picture of my painting because I'm pretty much done. And I'll probably just sip the rest of the way. So here is for my YouTube viewers, and then this is what the canvas is looking like. And then over here for my meetup group in the Clubhouse, this is what the canvas is looking like. And if you guys want to share what your canvases are looking like, you know, it's just therapeutic.
Let's see my canvas. I'm done.
Sure.
Huh?
I said sure. Let's see it. Ooh, that is really nice. You got all good coverage there too. Make sure to take a picture of that and get it over to my email, and I can post it up on our Clear Canvas platforms and pages. And then again, at the end of each week, we will look at the pictures and have them added, and then you have the chance at winning some free colors or paintbrushes. So let's talk about prosperity on the other end of these health struggles. So how have you been able to create a level of first of all, what does prosperity look like for you? Because prosperity for everybody is different, and depending on what kind of life or illnesses you may have, it determines sometimes for people the level of prosperity they feel that they can obtain and or they can achieve, you know, what's in their physical capability realistically to be able to do, and why or why not is that prosperity for you?
Prosperity for me is being rich in spirit, mind, and soul. Like I was telling everyone, I'm a Christian, and when you go to church and the preachers always used to talk about that God was going to bless you and multiply you, and you know, you would have this and you would have that, some of the preachers and things like that. And you can have and they were speaking on materialistic material things. I meant to say.
Right.
I think the line getting to me. But anyway,
that's all right.
Yeah, they were speaking on material things. But see, I've come to understand that walking with God, it's not always material things. Now, yes, the Father will increase you with material things, but the church that I attend now, it's more in depth, and being prosperous to me is dealing with my spiritual walk with God. Because as a young girl, my heart was crumbling. I didn't love me. I did not like me. I'm a tall woman. I didn't feel that I was attractive. I had a lot of insecurities.
Right.
But my spiritual walk now is so beautiful. God has revealed myself to me. My heart is not crumbling. I used to have so much weight on my back as a young girl. But now I'm light as a feather, dealing with my spiritual walk. Now, financially, I'm poor in pocket, but rich in spirit. And that is where I am with prosperity.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, there's nothing, I think, first of all, let me say, I think that is awesome. That's actually the major component, or the major key, is to have the richness within first. And there's so many things that make us rich in spirit, and hopefully your spirit will be so rich that you can penetrate the hearts of others, and also serve out life in prosperity according to what you feel like prosperity is for you. Prosperity for me is, in the beginning, I was anxious or adamant, I'm going to say adamant, about just obtaining the spiritual richness, because all of the many years of reading that I did, and still even do now to this day, it always talks about being rich within the spirit, and also being able to be blessed with wisdom. And I love wisdom. I love the word. I love encouragement. I love proverbs. I love African proverbs. I love anything that's upliftment to our spirit mans, our ruachs, the things that this ever-present spirit that we need to even function every day. So yes, prosperity is very much so spiritual, and I feel like if I had to if I had to calculate my prosperity at this moment in my life based upon my spirituality, I just feel like I'm at the top. I feel like I'm at the top, and I'm reigning joint heirs with the best kingdom alive, with the spirit of my ancestors that came before me. I do feel like the spirit is eternal, and so I feel good about that, and I'm grateful to know that this journey that we've all embarked on in one way, shape, or the other was here before we got here, and it's going to be here when we leave here. So, it's very necessary. However, prosperity for me in the financial aspect of things, first, let me say, I think I beat myself up about what I don't have. And then I also, that's where that health stuff comes in, the health struggle. I beat myself up with the time frame, the amount of years that I've been working towards financial freedom, and also the time frame that I have been trying to make it, or get the American dream, or obtain this life that looks a certain way. And so I haven't been completely satisfied. Has my motivation stopped in towards has my motivation stopped when it comes to pursuing that prosperity that I know I'm supposed to have and I know that I want to have? No, it has not. Yes, I am one to want the finer things. I want to look nice. I want to be the full representation of what I feel like God looks like on the planet. And he wasn't, I'm not gonna say he, because I said I was staying away from the he's and the she's of labeling God feminine. I don't see male or female. When I see God, I just see the Ruach HaKodesh, which is the Holy Spirit. And if you have the Spirit, it's gonna show, and it can show whether you're a man or a woman. So that's why I stay away from the labels. But when you think of blessings from the Most High, He did not create us to be poor or to have to want or to have to need. He said that, you know, in His house would be no lack. You know, the storehouses are filled with bread and with the water of life, and all of these things include our prosperity here in the earth. And I was listening to one of the other conversations on another platform this morning, and this brother was talking about the wickedness of the dominion in the earth, because he was talking about Satan and how Satan had permission to touch Job and to you know, take from Job. And so the question was, is the person that was actually testing Job the authorizer of the test? So basically, what did Job's verdicts come down from the actual God himself, or God in the great divine, or was it a mandate from Satan? And so this guy said, because, you know, something he said, because, you know, we were in the earth, and you know, Hasatan or Satan, because we know Hasatan in Hebrew is Satan in the Greek. Okay, so when we talk about Greek, we're going to think you know, New Testament, we're going to think Christianity, we're going to think what we initially learned Satan to be, you know, the prince or the ruler of the earth, is what was in question on this meeting. And for me, I totally disagree. I feel like Satan is not him or her either. I'm going to say the spirit of Hasatan, or the spirit of Satan, when it came to Job and whatever Job was in. And you know, Job had some health struggles too, you know, the boils and all of these things that plagued Job. You know, he didn't complain. He was already prosperous before Hasatan had even got the order that came down from the Most High to test Job. You know, he had already been on God's radar. Satan was like, listen, I need somebody I can mess with. And God was like, listen, I'm gonna let you go mess with Job because he's worthy. You know, he's good people. You know, I love Job, and I don't have no doubts that he gonna, you know, deny me, leave me, or any of that. And you could test Job in any way possible, and I know he's gonna be there with me to the end. And we know that, you know, Job was able to recover it. He was able to recover it all, everything he lost. And that's the thing. you know, we are supposed to have everything that the kingdom has in abundance here on earth. And so that is the reason for me stepping outside, and moving into a different level of thinking in my mind with clear canvas as far as prosperity is concerned, because a lot of people's ideas for us when we're Christian, oh, you know, and they talk Jesus and they're like, okay, well, you know, he was a humble servant, poor, you know, basically just like not ever having, but just but spiritual, you know. And that is not the God that we serve. It's definitely not the God that I serve, because Jesus, he turned from scripture, you know, he turned so many little small loaves into multiple hundred thousands of loaves. So we know that in the house, and when I say the house, I'm going to go ahead on and say our bodies, our casings, our shells, in his house shall be no lack. So I'm just waiting on my coins and my financials to start rolling in, because I know that it is the Most High's will that every one of my needs is supplied, and that I don't have to beg. I don't have to worry about my health. I don't have to worry about the next job or the next no or the next business deal, because I know that in that word was the promises of the fruit, and the fruit for his people, for God's people, for her people, for people of clarity, people of healing, people who have did the spiritual work. Then nothing but prosperity should be, you know, presenting itself in the atmosphere. And if it's not presenting itself in this way, it's definitely gonna present itself in another way. You can go ahead if you want to say something.
Hi, I'd like to share some enlightenment on the book of Job.
Okay.
And about Satan. In Job 1:6-12, it speaks about Satan's, what he's able to do. You find in society that people, when things are not right in their life, they like to talk about Satan, the devil. Oh, well, the devil's in my life, and he's doing this and he's doing that. But scripture says, and that's Job 1:6-12, that Satan can only be one place at one time. He also could not, in scripture, know Job's thoughts. He cannot foretell the future. And that goes for him being one place at one time. That goes for him and his aides. Okay? And right. He also has the angels and Satan and the aides has to get permission from God to mess with us. So people for many years, our reinforced has been stating, Satan doing this and Satan doing that and Satan doing that. No, Satan can only be from what scripture says, and that's Job 1:6-12, one place at one time, him and his aides. And also, we need to stop and take a look at ourselves. Like Michael Jackson said, look at the man in the mirror, because God has wrath too. And when we have as individuals a good side and we have a bad side, an evil side.
Right. Absolutely.
Light and darkness.
Absolutely.
And like a a movie I was watching one time. They talked about two sides, a good wolf and a bad wolf.
Yeah.
Whichever wolf you feed the most, that's the wolf you'll be.
Absolutely.
So when you want to be that dark side of your wolf, the evil side, the disturbed side, bring that out of you. You need to take a long, hard look at what you're doing to yourself, because God isn't pleased, I'm sure. And like I'll reinforce again, God has wrath. And Satan can only be one place at one time on earth, Scripture says.
Absolutely. So that was a good perspective and good key notes to put in your book if that is the way that you view life. You know that, hey, you know, things are going to happen, but it's all orchestrated for you to take a chance in this direction or that direction. And you're working with, like Miss M said, you're working with the spirits of light and darkness. And I think we kind of talked about that on our last Clear Canvas. So for me, you know, those health struggles that, you know, I call them the enemy. I call them, you know, the devil. That's how I did process at a lower level in my spiritual. Now, like I was saying on our last group, I'm able to go into my ocean of water, and the water is the life, the rivers that flow from God, from our Creator, from, you know, whatever source or entity has powered you in order to seek out yourself and go into yourself and be able to overshadow the darkness with the light. So I think, you know, prosperity for me is on the way. And prosperity for me is already here in so many ways, because, you know, my house, it's not, you know, lacking in any way. It's just more things that I think I'd like to be able to do. And some good things with Clear Canvas that I want us to be thinking about after tonight is, you know, are my thoughts good about my health? You know, am I speaking life into my health? Am I speaking life into my heart? Am I understanding self-care? Am I taking the time out to just exercise a little bit here and there? Turning on some stimulating musics that can help to balance those brain waves, you know, and help you to think clear. Working on different levels of speaking, different tones. All of these things produce light or darkness, you know, even just something simple as our tones, you know. So when we think about having a clear canvas and that beautiful light going off, which is at the top, because the light is at the top, the sun is at the top, the heavens are at the top, you know, and your brain is at the top. You know, everything is at the top, and God is at the top. So when you think about all of these things, we're trying to reach the top. We're trying to go up. Can you say yes, we going up? I'm trying to go up, honey. I'm trying to go up. Okay, so we're going up together, and I'm gonna tell you, as long as we keep painting these canvases, we keep talking about these real things, and we keep developing new strategies and new ways to digest our situations individually and corporately, we are going to see the prosperity, and we're going to see the top. And when you see the top, you see God, you see the prosperity, you see the abundance, you see all of these beautiful things, you know, the sky is the limit, and even after that it's still some more, so it doesn't even stop there. So you know, I think some good things for us tonight at Clear Canvas as we get ready to close out. Let's just think that our blessings are going to come unexpectedly. There's not going to be any will I be successful, will I be prosperous, will I have prosperity. The question is when. And when the question is when, the hope keeps us going, the hope keeps us moving. Our spirit, the God will that's inside of us, whatever you call it, is going to continue to press you forward, toward wherever you need to be for the manifestation of what prosperity looks like, however you dreamed it up to be, to actually happen. So stay focused, stay positive, keep your brains clear, keep your canvases clear, paint your brighter pictures, guys. Paint your brighter pictures. If you need to vent, if you're feeling down, grab you a canvas and just start to paint and just start to ponder on those thoughts. Write yourselves down some questions. If you find yourself thinking on something too long, write that thing down and then go home and talk to your divine self about it. Talk to your God, your leader, your head, whoever it is that's appointed in your life, to help you with your life's journey. You want to consult that spirit. And so for me, tapping into my higher self, the God spirit in myself, I'm constantly talking to myself, coaching myself, you know, encouraging myself. And when those stinking thoughts come in, those dark thoughts that put the dark stains on the brain, it keeps our canvas from being clear. When those thoughts come about, I'm automatically figuring out what area of light I need to go into to combat this darkness. And if you think about it from a Christian level, then you praying to God and you're maybe waiting for him to intercede on your behalf, or you are praying to your God, and you're asking for permission for the saints, for the angels to intervene, because we know that there are different angels, there's different principalities out here who have jobs as well, and that assist in aiding the great divine in taking care of situations. So the best thing is to just know that everything around you is working in a direction of upward. And I think that we're going to be great and going up together, guys. Like, seriously. So is there anybody that want to have anything else to say before we get ready to close out tonight's meeting here on Clear Canvas? Alrighty then. Well, it's been a wonderful night, a wonderful evening. Again, I'm B, your host here at Clear Canvas. I want to thank all of the participants that came out to paint with us tonight. Be sure to paint your pictures and send them to my email so we can put them up on the website. Either way, to show everyone what we're doing. There is a website in development for Clear Canvas. However, right now you can still view us on all of the platforms that we have: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, Zoom, and then we also have a platform on Meetup, which still links you to Zoom. So you can reach out there. The counseling is free. The therapy is free. The art is fun. come vibe with us, come share with us, come be lifted up, come lift someone else up. And if you'd like to send a donation via Cash App, you can Cash App us at Clear Canvas Corp. Clear Canvas, CLEAR, Canvas, CANVAS, Corp, CORP. And that will be also posted up on all of the sites. If you want to give out donations, and please keep in mind your donations go to people who will futuristically attend Clear Canvas meetings, who may need things, who may have struggles, and or the donations will go towards our prizes when we give out paints and canvases. So it's always helpful when we can donate. However, there's no mandate, there's no pressure, so don't feel like you have to send anything. I just wanted to put that out there for people who want to give to the platform. I want to thank everybody again so much for coming out to Clear Canvas. Remember, vibe clearer, paint your brighter picture, honey. Don't let nobody tear you down. And anytime you see darkness coming, just shine on them with the light. Just shine on them with the light. Take care. Have a great night. And I hope you people be blessed until next time. Good night.
Good night.